Welcome to Hidden Treasures. We're going to do a little craft today. So this is a picture I took of my daughter last summer, and this is what I've done with it with mixed media. And I thought I could show you today how to do this. So at the bottom here, as you can see, it is a collage. And then higher up, it is acrylic paint with a little bit of mixed media, and I'll show you what it is. Okay, to start with, I cut a lot of paper, lengthwise this time, and I used a regular sketch paper. I used different type of paper I had on hand. As it happens, after our art journaling class, we had some tea bags. So I removed the tea, just like this. And then I opened the bag. And as you can see, we have beautiful patterns there from the tea bag being used. And I cut that in pieces with the rest. So this is a piece of paper that was stained in an art journal class that we had. And I also cut it lengthwise. All right. So cutting, it's very therapeutic. If you have lots of angst or anxiety, it's a really good way to get rid of it. Okay, so this is my PVA glue, Skull Glue or Elmer's glue. And I added a little bit of water because I want it to flow easily. And mix and mix and mix. I'm using an old brush. Old because it's been used and it's not flat anymore, but it is great for what we need to do today. So to glue, you just add some glue at the bottom. You put your piece of paper and then you glue right back on top of it. And you just do one layer on top of the other, side by side. And you do about 1/3 of the page, even maybe a little more. And you just go with one piece after the other. Don't try and mix and match anything. It's very random. It's very relaxing to do. All right, so I've done as much of the beach as I wanted to. And now this is the string that was on the tea bag. And we're going to use it. We are going to glue it on the paper and make it go a little wavy. So when you start gluing it on, suddenly it becomes nice and straight. And you're going to give it a bit of a shape to look like a wave. Now it's a lake, so it is not a big wave. So I started painting. As you can see, I'm using the same brush, which is nice and scruffy, which is what I want. I'm using a little bit of blue paint, which is Copenhagen blue from Deco Art, which you can find at Dollarama. And what I want is, as you're painting, I don't want nice straight lines. I want scruffy lines. And that's going to make it look like we have a lot of sun reflection on the water. So it's okay if at places you get like a big blue line. At least I didn't worry too much about it. Also, I thought that my beach was a little too high on the left, so I decided to paint over top it just to make my water a little bit bigger. Now, I'm trying to make it a little bit more blue. Again, very little amount of blue on the brush. Now I'm starting to get a little bit of black, and I'm going underneath the wave line, because underneath is where it's going to be the darkest. So wherever I have a little wave, I'm going to put some black underneath. And then on top of it, I will add some white. Now I'm adding a little bit of black all over the place because it's a very dry brush method, just to give it a little bit more different hint of color. And I'm adding the white on top. And right now the white is actually, this one is a bigger wave, so the white goes over top. And you do it until you're happy with what you're seeing. And honestly, you won't be happy with what you're seeing. We never are. But when you go back on it later on, you'll see, oh, I did pretty good. All right, so the picture says that at the bottom it's supposed to be pretty much the same color as the water. So I'm adding some black all over my beautiful beach, just because the color that I chose is very light. And so that was my choice, and I'm happy with it, but you may not like it, so you don't have to do that. Or you can find some other color to darken your beach. I did not just use black, I also added some blue to it. The picture originally has a very purplish hint to it, so but I didn't want to cover everything in black because I really like the texture and I really like my tea bags and my curry dyed paper. So that's how I reconciled my idea. And it's totally subjective, and it's okay if you don't like it. So here I'm adding a bit of blue because I thought the water should go down a little more, and adding a little bit of white to make for the reflection. All right, so now I'm going to use crayons. You don't have to use crayons. You can use pencil colors, or you can just use paint. I just thought I would use different mediums so that, you know, you can use whatever you have at home. You don't need to go and buy anything. You don't need to go to Dollarama to get anything. So the idea is to go from light color inside to darker color on the outside, to overlap the colors as much as you can, and then go back with a lighter color to try and unite the last two colors that you put together. So here, as you can see, I'm using orange, and I'm going all around it. And now I'm adding the purple, and eventually I will go back on yellow to try to go over all those colors to unite them all. I had trouble coloring on the side, and that crayons had the paper right at the top, so I had to remove the bits of paper there. Now, crayons, you can see I was going really fast there because I wanted to just to give you an idea as to how to do it. So if you don't want to see all that, you can try and use a piece of cloth like I am to try and remove the scrubs that we can see. Honestly, all pastel would look better with that. Even dry pastel would do better, but I'm happy with it. It looks okay. And I use some white because the center is really white, and unfortunately there was a bit of black left on my brush, so I ended up using my finger. And then we have the sun there that is really bright. The only thing missing now is the little girl jumping on the sand on the beach. So this is the picture. What I did is I cropped it and made it a little bigger because the original picture, the character was a little smaller. And if you don't have an X-Acto knife to cut around, you can just use a pair of scissors like I'm showing you. You go right in the middle of it, you cut a piece, and then you have room to put your scissors, and you just cut from the inside out, which is what I did. All right, so here is the little girl all cut out. Then you can choose wherever you want your character to be, and use a sponge, one from the kitchen. You can also get that at Dollarama really cheap, that you cut into pieces, and use that black paint. Make sure that you keep holding your paper even though when you get more paint, because if you don't, then it's going to move, and the paint being wet, it's going to have very nasty little things happening. And when you're sure, you remove it, and here we are. So this is the original picture. This is the prototype that I've done, and this is the project that I've done for you today. I hope you have fun. I hope you try, and have a safe coronation from Hidden Treasures. Goodbye.